The relationship you have with yourself is the most important thing you will ever have in your whole entire life, and it's also the only thing that will last until the day you die. And it's probably also the number one factor that is keeping you from being productive, that is keeping you from keeping the promises you make to yourself. And I think it's overall the most important factor that contributes to your happiness. So in this video, I'll talk a little bit about it and how you can improve the relationship with yourself. And I'm Damien, by the way. And if you care about being a little bit happier than you are right now, then subscribe, because there will be a lot more content coming in that direction. So let's get into it. First things first, the relationship you have with anybody else should be similar to the relationship you have with yourself. And what I mean with that is, if you have a person that you love very much or you care about very much, you don't speak negatively of them, you love them, you don't, you wish them the best. And if you don't do that for yourself, well, that's the number one thing where you should start to work, because that will literally pay off. And maybe a mindset shift that could help you with that is that you, in a way, are not one person, but you're multiple people. Now hear me out. I know that sounds a little weird, but imagine your past self who was doing things that maybe you don't approve of now, but you maybe understand why they did that. And it's not like you would make that same decision right now again, but in any case, that person wasn't exactly like you are now today. And on another note, the future version of you that you are not yet right now, obviously, maybe does need support from you right now in a way where you can set yourself up for success. So the way you are right now is not exactly the way that your past self used to be, and it's also probably not the same way that your future self is going to be. Arguably, maybe you're always the same person, but in my opinion, viewing yourself as multiple people or having multiple versions of yourself allows yourself to grow and then over time foster a relationship with yourself. And this is already point number one I wanted to make, is that if you set yourself up for success in the future, then you will inevitably start to be grateful for yourself. Like, for example, just laying out your clothes in front of you for the next day relieves you from having to make the decision what you're gonna wear the next day, because in that moment you just have one thing less to worry about and can start your day just a little bit more quickly. Arguably, going to the gym and being grateful for what you did for yourself, getting a degree, like all these things are bigger things, but they're also smaller things that you can do to improve the relationship with yourself. Discipline can also be described as choosing short-term pain for longer-term reward. Basically, denying yourself pleasure right now to favor what you will get in the future for your future self. One thing that a lot of successful people don't do is never ever is talk negatively about themselves. And I don't mean don't criticize yourself in a reflective way or tell yourself where you can improve. However, no successful person ever said, I look so stupid today, I am stupid, why can I never get anything right? No, that, I swear to God, if just this one thing you cut out of your life, it's gonna be so helpful for you in the long run and for now, because you will start to respect yourself. And there's another thing I will talk about, but being kind to yourself and compassionate is already so important, because that is basically the number one factor where you start to respect yourself, because you are stopping to talk shit about yourself and starting to speak kindly to yourself. And just imagine if you had a friend that talks shit about you all the time, which I don't have friends like that, thank God. But if you had one like that, would you really want to be friends with them? And that is what I meant with seeing yourself as another person. Treat yourself exactly like you would want to be treated by the kindest person you could imagine in your whole entire life. Another thing with having respect for yourself is keeping the promises you made to yourself. And I know it can be very hard, like waking up in the morning, going to the gym. I know it can be very difficult, but you can always start small. It could be the tiniest things. It could be just saying, I am going to get up now. And then you're getting up now, like not even in the morning. It could just also be like, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the light right now. And then you do it. And I know that sounds so mundane and stupid, but if you start doing it, you start to foster a sense of being able to achieve what you actually say. Because also discipline or being successful requires you to do the things that you would say. Because again, who would you trust more? A person who always shows up on time and always delivers on what they promise? Or a person who never shows up on time, doesn't respect themselves? And that is basically why starting to keep the promises that you make to yourself starts to foster a feeling of like, damn, I really can do this. It's really not that hard. And if you start small and start with the little things, it's like keeping on investing and pouring into yourself, where after some time it just accumulates. And I know positive affirmations are controversial, not everybody likes them, but over time, if you just cut out the negative self-talk, be realistically proud of yourself, like you did this and this today, then you can also say to yourself, like, I really did that, because you really did that. So why not say to yourself in a kind way and be proud of yourself in the best way you can be proud of yourself? If you start to do these things, then over time you will have a feeling and a sense of accomplishment. You will be so proud of what you did, of what you are able to achieve, of yourself. And that is literally my point, that over time you will be able to do all the things that you put your mind to, because you at that point will have such a strong sense of self, of love for yourself, of respect for yourself, kindness and compassion for yourself, that you will not even think about procrastinating or eating unhealthy or skipping the workout or quitting your studies, quitting your job. Go quit that job if you don't like your job, but that's not the point. One day, sooner or later, you will stop not liking yourself. You will in fact stop hating yourself, but then you will start loving yourself for the things that you are doing for yourself. And it just starts with the smallest things, with kindness, with self-compassion. And now here's the thing. In difficult times, even if everything goes to shit and you don't know why life is throwing at you all of these things, you will always have the best relationship with yourself, period. And nobody will ever be able to take that away. Even if you're broken down on the floor crying because you can fathom what is going on in your life right now, at least you will be kind to yourself. You will give yourself the space to cry, give yourself the time to process what is going on, if you have the privileges, of course. You will allow yourself to eat that chocolate. You won't even feel bad about taking time off. Why? Because you will respect yourself. And you will be kind and compassionate towards yourself, even in the worst moments of your life. And if you are able to achieve that, that is, in my opinion, self-mastery, having the best relationship that you can possibly have with yourself. And in that moment, you will be so grateful for what you've achieved, because you then will have learned that putting any more stress or hatred on yourself will never ever make any situation any better. And be kind. Why is my hair like that? But why would you choose to not be kind to yourself? That is another thing. Self-respect also comes in the form of respect from others and demanding respect from others, because standing up for yourself is difficult, but it doesn't have to be in the future. If you start right now, and if anybody says something to you that you don't tolerate, that you wouldn't say about other people, call them out. Why would they have the right to talk you down? Why would they even think that they can do it without facing any repercussions? Like, you don't have to be an asshole about it like they were, but you can just call them out and say that you're not tolerating it. They can do that to anybody else if they want to be an asshole. but they're not going to do that to you. And in that moment, if you stand up for yourself, if you started to foster that sense of loving and respecting yourself, then other people will notice and other people will follow, because ultimately you always teach other people how you want to be treated. And if you take it for granted how you're being treated, then people will mirror that back to you. And the basis for all of this is that you can't build a relationship with the person you're not actively spending time with. And for all of the extroverts out there, spend the time with people that you love, but then again, take the time you need for yourself, because how will you ever get to know somebody if you don't spend time with them? And basically spending alone time in a way where you're not focusing on social media or anything else, but actively looking inward. And that is also what I'm talking about with treating yourself as the person that you are not, asking yourself what you want to be doing, how you are feeling right now, checking in with yourself, and you will then start to feel such a respect and love for yourself, because you actually care about how you feel. And that, just for the sake of emotional regulation even, provides the best basis to create space for yourself, which allows you to, even if there are difficult situations, to face them and to deal with them appropriately, because you took time for yourself. You know what you like, what you don't like, you like how you want to be treated, what you know what you want in life. Then if you start valuing yourself and asking yourself and checking in with yourself, because how will you be able to foster a relationship with somebody that you don't even know? Being kind to yourself, respecting yourself, spending time with yourself, checking in with yourself, doing favors for yourself, spending money even for yourself, treating yourself like you would want to be treated by the best and kindest person that you could imagine in the world. Imagine the best treatment that you could have possibly in this whole entire universe from another human being, and then start giving it to yourself. Obviously, don't sleep in every day just because you want to. Don't spend all of your money just because you want to. But if you start to treat yourself kindly, with respect, and just nice, with compassion. And compassion is so important, because in the worst moments of your life, being compassionate towards yourself is the basis for not going insane. So I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope that you will maybe be a little bit happier because of the way that you treat yourself. There's no reason to be mean to yourself. Be kind to yourself, because the world needs a lot more kindness right now. And if you start pouring in to yourself, then you will also be able to pour into other people. So being selfish in a way even is being selfless, because how can you truly give if you don't have anything to give? And to anybody who tells you it's selfish to be kind to yourself or to be confident, and actually if you can do something well, if anybody criticizes you for that, then be grateful for the criticism, but you don't have to take it. They can say whatever they want, but ultimately at the end of the day, you will know that you're always trying to be a good person, and you will have the self-respect to not let their opinion influence you, because you have an opinion about yourself. And no matter what they say, they won't be able to shake the image that you built for yourself for years and years. And words can truly hurt, but no comment will ever be able to shake your whole entire identity that you built for yourself, because you know what respect is, because you've been treating yourself respectfully. And on that note, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.